Welcome guys, today is Sunday, December 6th, and I thought I would go fly around today and see what was going on. So I started out just taking off and zooming around the house. The neighbor was out cutting whatever, and the lake had just started to freeze. I noticed this morning there was a thin little bit of ice over parts of the lake, so I wanted to go up and check out how much the lake had froze. It's pretty cloudy today. The weather people in Michigan are notorious liars. So, the forecast was for sun. This is what we've got. But it was a perfect day for flying. Moving towards Kendra's a little. We'll check out that cool orange snow fence. And up and over the tree. It's hard to tell, but that is one solid, very thin, very clear piece of ice. Bring the camera up. They got quite a few pontoon boats over there. And I think we got Lou's coming into view there. It looks like the deck and everything has been torn off. There's this new construction next door to it, or remodel, or whatever's going on there. I don't know what all that plastic, that white plastic on the ground is like protecting some sort of other covered up shrine thing underneath there. I have no idea what's in that hole. And over at Lulu's, it's looking, well, it's looking kind of bare. I have to apologize for the turning that you're gonna see. I didn't edit any of this out. I decided that we'll just kind of show the video as I filmed it, and you know, again, I'll say I'm sorry for the video being kind of long, but if you like it, you like it. If you don't, that's alright. I just threw it up here. Coming back through along Camelot to Tackles. Danielle, honey, if you're watching this video, that's you texting me. And we decide to see what happens if we get close to this Seagull here. I know that taunting birds with the drone is not the best idea, but I figured this one lonely Seagull did not pose a threat to me. And he shits and takes off. So apparently the Mavic Air 2 scared the shit out of him. Good. And another fly over tackles and coming over to the left. Instead of going way out and around the shoreline here, I decided to just cut it right in and come right over the neighbors' houses. See what they were doing on a Sunday. Pretty cool with the leaves off the trees. You can see through and see a lot of stuff on the ground. So that was about it for the home fly around. I didn't really have much of a plan, so I threw the dog in the car, decided to start driving out towards Highland Rack. And it didn't take me long before I saw something and slammed on the brakes. So I found myself over by Alpine Valley, and what they were doing was making artificial snow since it's freezing out. So I thought, how cool. We're definitely going to fly the drone through this. So here I go. Now, don't get your hopes up. I didn't actually fly the drone through any of the artificial snow being made, but I did fly all over Alpine, which you're about to see. Enjoy. I've never actually seen an artificial snow like machine actually work. I've seen them up close when they're off. I mean, just never seen one actually making snow. I am curious to know what that red orange looking thing off to the left is. In my head, I want to think it's one of those ski ramp launches that like shoots the ski jumper like way up into the air as they like look like they're flying. I'm not sure if that what it is, but in my head, that's what I'd like to believe that is. Like, oh, they got one of those. The snow on the trees definitely looks very pretty. So what I'm trying to do is figure out how to kind of recreate what I'm seeing on YouTube. Know nothing really about Premiere. This is my first time using it to do anything, so probably due to the boring factor and the fact that this video is like almost a half hour long, so I planned on just not cutting it, you know, and I wanted to add audio narration through it instead of just music tracks. Now I got the old Handycam involved. I'm recording myself. I've got some audio here. If I can get the Tascam from Andy, I can just actually get some really good audio all by itself. But this is my idea to try to throw some narration in and possibly do a little bit of picture-in-picture, more or less for my own benefit, to kind of figure out how to just do it in Premiere. So, again, a lot of this is garbage, but it's good working practice for me, so I appreciate, if you're watching, bearing through it with me. Now, I'll probably be back over at Alpine. I'd like to see if I could hit them up, tomorrow or early this week, to see how much more snow they got down, what they're doing. I explored most of it. I started to realize that it keeps going in one direction. I really didn't venture far, too far over that way. I had plenty of signal, but I also had plenty of cool stuff I was looking right at that, there wasn't much sense in going, from this angle that we're looking at right now, further over to the left. Just, there's some neat stuff going on down there, and you can see snow at the very bottom. I really didn't head that way. I just was too enamored with all this, so that will definitely be in a future video. I just wanted to say too, I wasn't quite sure how the effect of the snow kind of rising in the air like that, like fog or smoke, was going to come out on the camera. But initially, this is what I saw from 59 out of my just peripheral vision as I was driving by, and it clicked that oh, it's really cold out. They're making snow, because you really can't see what's going on back there. And again, that just I lit up like perfect drone opportunity here, and it came out really good. I mean, the snow on the trees, the snow rising and fluffing around like smog and smoke is really cool looking. Stark contrast to the browns of everything else. So next up, what I tried to do was play around with Active Track. I have not had really a good chance to do this, so after checking out Alpine, I drove out and started heading over towards Highland Rack. Found a nice spot over there, got the dog. If this first image says anything about how the rest of this is going to go, I don't know what will. The Active Track and the drone perform beautifully. So the drone is following me autonomously. It's tracking my movement. I'm not using the controller. I'm just focusing on walking the dog. And it does a really good job at this. So the first time I took the dog out with the drone, the dog was a little nervous. Today, he's really good. He has no care in the world that drone's back there. He's peeing, he's sniffing, we're out, he's having a good time. ahead you can see a small bridge. This was kind of the reason I wanted to walk over here and check this out. I saw this bridge and thought, oh, that's neat, let's pull over. Bridge usually equals some kind of spillway or, you know, water. So, let's go look at it. Turned out to be a really cool area. Unfortunately, at about this time, the dog's mental defects started to surface. For reasons I don't understand, the dog does not want anything to do with that bridge. It all of a sudden just decides, that's it, I'm not going any further. So I explained to him that that's not going to hurt him. I realize that he is just terrified. So, I try to tell him that he's a good boy and that everything's going to be okay and that we're just going to walk to the other side of this bridge. And no way. I think he's coming. He stops. I'm like, all right. Now I'm just going to walk. He'll follow me for sure. Absolutely not. The drone, however, tracks me perfectly. Even when I turn around, the drone is right there. The dog is on the other side of the bridge, basically giving me the dog finger. I don't know what his problem was. So I start walking back. Again, the drone is backing itself up, using its obstacle avoidance to make sure it doesn't run into anything, which it doesn't. And 25 feet from the bridge is the dog, who is also crying in the background. So I make fun of him and tell him this is why most of the time, I leave you in the car, and decide to just take the active track off and take the drone and fly around, check out this pond that's over here. And I'm going to kind of fast forward through it. I sped the video up a little bit so that it's not so bad, because I went really slow. Again, most everything is covered in that really thin layer of ice. But perfectly calm day. The lake is like glass. I love the reflection off the water, especially when you see it like through the reeds. Anyway, so zippity doo dah back out of there. And now what really had my attention was the spillway. So now anybody that knows me knows that I love to kayak. We used to spot cars and do large portions of the Clinton River in a day. We used to love jumping off spillways. So anytime I see one of these, even though this is a little tiny one, I'm still like, oh, this is cool. Also knowing me, you probably know I'm going to get a lot closer to that. At this point, I believe I have the obstacle avoidance turned on the drone, and it is not really letting me get any closer. So I shut all that stuff off so that I can kind of get in there and get some cool shots. And again, just from a cool shot angle type thing, it is really cool to be able to get the drone in there and get kind of angles like that. I wish we would have had something like this while we were kayaking, that we could have positioned over a spot in the river while we went through the rapids and the eddies and the rocks. So just to give you an idea of the size of the bridge that this dog is mortified of, this is like what we're looking at there. That I don't know, for whatever reason we couldn't make it anywhere near that. We weren't going over it. Admire the 69 they've got there, only piece of graffiti. Nice 69 there. Right now is about the time that I get it in my head that I'm going to fly through there. And I start lining this up and going, yeah, alright, no problem. Like, look at how cool that is, just with the water pouring off of there. We're going to go nice and slow. And I think right about here is the point where I hear a splash behind me, because the dog has now jumped into the river behind me. Awesome shot though. So what is happening now is I am screaming at the dog to get out of the water and trying to recover the drone at the same time. Probably like the worst scenario that I want to be in, you know, is trying to complete a delicate maneuver and the dog, like a child, has decided to go play in the water. Mind you, 5 minutes ago the dog would not approach the bridge. So now we have the drone safe. The dog is out of the river. Just to be clear, the dog was on the down side of the spillway playing where those rocks were. And we start heading back to the car. So again, great day, good active track. Kind of weird, the dog, but you know, I don't know, maybe he just gets weirded out by things he hasn't seen before, like a bridge. I don't know. Oh, I did remember at this point that I had turned off all the obstacle avoidance sensors to fly underneath the bridge. So before kind of going back through these trees, which have little teeny tiny branches that are hanging out and down by this path, I'm like, you know, since the drone's flying itself, I should probably turn its sensors on. This may end up actually being something that I try to do more and more videos of. Active track with the dog. This is my first really good try with it, like I said. I had a pretty open area here, and again, not a lot of people and other dogs. So we'll see how it goes. I think as you know, gets a little colder, there's going to be less and less people out, and we'll still go out. So hope to do some more active track videos. Thanks again for watching and bearing with me as I try to learn how to use Premiere Pro. Stay tuned. We'll have a video like this about every week, and maybe some smaller ones in between. Thanks again, guys. If you like it, remember, click subscribe.